What if one of the most talked about wellness drinks in America is not another overhyped trend, but a genuinely useful tool for sleep, recovery, and inflammation? Lately, Tart cherry juice has been everywhere. It shows up in sleepy girl mocktails, recovery routines, wellness blogs, and sports nutrition conversations. Some people swear it helps them sleep better, others use it after workouts to reduce soreness, and some see it as just another trendy drink wrapped in health marketing. So what's actually true? Today on The Vital Nourish, we're taking a clear, balanced look at Tart cherry juice, what it is, what it may actually do in the body, and whether it deserves a place in a healthy routine. Before we get into the science, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy practical, evidence-based wellness content without hype. And stay with me until the end, because I'll explain the biggest mistake people make when buying Tart cherry juice, and why that mistake can completely change whether it helps or not. Let's start with the basics. Tart cherry juice usually comes from Montmorency cherries, a sour cherry variety that has been studied far more than sweet cherries in the context of sleep and recovery. What makes Tart cherries interesting is that they contain polyphenols, especially anthocyanins, along with small amounts of melatonin and other compounds that may influence sleep quality and inflammation. The NIH Office of Dietary Supplements notes that Montmorency tart cherries contain anthocyanins and other polyphenolic phytochemicals, and researchers have studied them for recovery after exercise because of their potential anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. This is one of the first things people get wrong. Tart cherry juice is not magic because it is fruit juice. It's interesting because of its specific compounds. Anthocyanins are pigments that give tart cherries their deep red color, and they are being studied for their effects on oxidative stress and inflammation. That matters because chronic low-grade inflammation touches everything from muscle recovery to cardiovascular health to sleep quality. Eating Well recently highlighted Tart cherry juice as a top anti-inflammatory juice choice because of these compounds, while also stressing that no single food cancels out an unhealthy lifestyle. Now let's talk about sleep, because this is the reason many people first hear about Tart cherry juice. Sleep Foundation says Tart cherry juice may improve sleep quality and duration because it contains melatonin and tryptophan, both of which support healthy sleep. Cleveland Clinic has also noted that in small studies of older adults with insomnia, drinking Tart cherry juice before bed led to longer and more restful sleep. In other words, there is enough evidence here to take the idea seriously, but not enough to pretend it works like a prescription sleep medication. That distinction matters. Tart cherry juice is not a knockout drink. It is not something that sedates the brain or forces sleep. It seems to work more gently, possibly by supporting the body's own sleep chemistry and by reducing some of the physiological stress that interferes with sleep quality. One of the studies cited by Sleep Foundation found that Tart cherry juice increased melatonin availability and improved sleep measures, which helps explain why some people notice better rest over time rather than an immediate dramatic effect the first night they try it. And this leads to an important point about expectations. If someone drinks Tart cherry juice one night and expects to feel as if they took a strong sleep aid, they may be disappointed. But if someone uses it consistently as part of a healthier evening routine, the effect may be more subtle and more realistic. Eating Well recently summarized it well by saying, Tart cherry juice may help people fall asleep faster and improve sleep quality, but it works best in the context of broader sleep hygiene, like limiting screens and maintaining a consistent routine. Now let's move to another reason Tart cherry juice became popular, especially among active people and athletes: recovery. The NIH Office of Dietary Supplements notes that researchers believe Tart cherry compounds may help facilitate exercise recovery by reducing pain, inflammation, strength loss, and muscle damage after intense exercise. This is why Tart cherry powder and juice are often discussed in sports nutrition circles. It's not because they build muscle directly, but because they may help the body recover more efficiently from the stress of training. That makes Tart cherry juice especially interesting for people who exercise hard, train frequently, or simply notice they stay sore for too long. If you're under-recovered, everything suffers. Sleep gets worse, inflammation can stay elevated, and your next workout is affected. A natural drink that may support recovery without acting like a stimulant has obvious appeal. But again, the smartest way to think about this is not that tart cherry juice replaces rest, protein, or good training structure. It may simply be one helpful piece of the puzzle. There's also some interesting discussion around brain health and blood pressure. Eating Well has reported emerging evidence that tart cherry juice may support memory and cognition and may help lower systolic blood pressure in some studies, though findings are inconsistent. That means this is an area to watch, but not one where we should make big claims yet. The better supported story right now is sleep, recovery, and anti-inflammatory potential. And now we get to the part that makes this a real wellness topic instead of just a trend. Who should be careful? Tart cherry juice sounds harmless because it's juice, but that doesn't mean it's ideal for everyone. First, it can be high in natural sugar, depending on the brand and serving size. Second, some products are sweetened or diluted, which makes them less useful if your goal is real benefits. Third, Eating Well points out that drinking too much may cause abdominal discomfort or diarrhea because tart cherry juice contains sorbitol, and it may not be ideal for people trying to follow a low FODMAP approach. There's also the blood pressure issue. Because some evidence suggests tart cherry juice may contribute to lower blood pressure in certain people, Eating Well advises that anyone taking blood pressure medication should speak with a healthcare professional before using it regularly for that purpose. That doesn't mean it's dangerous for everyone. It means natural products still have biological effects, and natural is not the same as neutral. So what's the biggest buying mistake people make? They buy the wrong product. If your goal is wellness support, you want 100% tart cherry juice, ideally unsweetened and not loaded with added sugars. Some products are more like fruit drinks than actual tart cherry juice. Others are made from concentrate and may still be useful, but the label matters. Eating Well specifically recommends looking for unsweetened tart cherry juice if you want to reduce sugar and get closer to the form used in many of the discussions around sleep and health. And what's the most practical way to use it? For sleep, many people use a small serving in the evening, often about an hour before bed. Sleep Foundation notes that some people use up to 16 ounces, though in real life many people start smaller and see how they respond. For recovery, people often use it around training periods rather than randomly. The key is not to overcomplicate it. If you're testing tart cherry juice, use it intentionally, choose a quality product, and pay attention to how your body responds. So is tart cherry juice a natural sleep aid, a recovery drink, or just hype? The most honest answer is that it's a little of the first two and less of the third than many trends tend to be. The science is not definitive enough to call it a miracle, but it is strong enough to say tart cherry juice has real potential, especially for sleep quality and exercise recovery, and possibly for inflammation-related benefits as well. If used thoughtfully, it can make sense. If sold as a cure-all, it's being oversold. If you found this helpful, leave a like, subscribe to The Vital Nourish, and let me know in the comments. Have you ever tried tart cherry juice, and did you notice any difference in your sleep or recovery? And I'll see you in the next video.